about the other? Green Bay is our next stop. The Packers mired in a 4-game losing streak, longest with Aaron Rodgers since 2008. Rodgers was talking this week about his ineffective receiving core and to what he attributes their lack of production. Here's what Aaron said.
We haven't had our full squad. I think that's part of it. A lot of guys been hurt. We look at our receiver room. Sammy missed time. Gobby's now missing time. Allen's missed time.
All right, Brooke Pryor, as you hear Aaron talking, what thought comes to your mind?
There's so many excuses. There's too many excuses because you know who hasn't been hurt, or at least so hurt that they have had to miss games? A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. Why don't you run the ball more? I said last week that my recipe for the Packers to have a prayer of beating the Bills was running the ball. You know what they did? They ran the ball. 20 carries for Aaron Jones, 10 for A.J. Dillon. They didn't beat the Bills, but they came closer than I thought they would. So you know what? I understand that there are deficits at wide receiver. I know that this offensive line is not the best, but they're not terrible. And I think that you could really do some damage if you would just run the dang ball.
Well, look, I mean, they're playing a Detroit team this week whose defense is just unimaginably bad. And they have Rodgers has certainly owned them as he has much of the division. David, same question. Can Rodgers pull something out of his hat here? Is the formula running the football a little more? Will that defense finally show up and play? Can the Packers look like the team? That's what they need. That's what they need to try to major in with the receiving core that they have. Now, Ninko has put together a prop. He's got a sign, Cindy. I asked you yesterday about the Packers.
It's over.
Sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words, or in this case, at least 2.
It's over. It's over. I said it was over. I said it was over when they lost to the Jets at home. Listen, they have a lot more problems than just running the football.
Doing the Chicago accent, though, Nink.
I tell you what, this is the first time in my life I was so excited to see the Bears so much better than the Packers. The Packers are in trouble. They're going down. The season's over. The Bears are better than the Packers this year. It's 100% accurate. We're the best rushing team in the NFL, and I'm going to go have myself a bratwurst and celebrate.
You know what? At this moment, the Bears might be better than the Packers. That's not hyperbole. RC, jump in and finish this up for us here. How about Aaron and the Packers?
Well, I think the first thing about Aaron Rodgers and the Packers running the football, as Brooke has said, it's not necessarily that we believe they can run it. We just know they can't throw it. And so we say, hey, might as well try something different. And you look at the second half of the Buffalo Bills game, they were able to create 2 turnovers off of Josh Allen, run the football, and it at least slowed the game down to give them an opportunity to see if Aaron Rodgers can make a play late. We thought that would be the recipe throughout the season. We thought the season would at least start off that way, trying to play tough, physical defense, get after the passer, at least sometimes stop the run, and then run the football offensively and allow Aaron Rodgers to be great when he can. I know we're looking at this Detroit Lions like a get-right game, but the Detroit Lions can score. And the Green Bay Packers throughout the season haven't shown themselves to be an explosive team. This is going to be a tough game. This is going to be a game where the Packers might actually have to dig deep to find a win. And I believe that's exactly what they need. They need to get into a fight and be able to come out of that fight battered and bruised, but as a champion. And maybe then they find out how to make games ugly, how to make games gritty, and win. Because throwing the football around and having the little screens and the checks and the RPOs, that's not going to get it done for this team. They have to change their mindset and their philosophy, and then maybe they could compete down the stretch.
Yeah, I like it. They put the picks up there.
You don't believe in their emotional thing with him, with Rodgers?
Yeah,
like the emotional whatever that thing is? That doesn't work?
Man. Listen,
Rodgers hadn't built that emotional
type of emotional
or whatever it is
in my bank account right now. He don't have that.
Emotional revenue.
The Rolling Stones had a song called Emotional Rescue, and it feels like that's what they desperately need. Cindy, let's put the picks up there. So we're all buying in on Green Bay again this week against the Lions. And so maybe if there's a thread of commonality here, Brady and Rodgers, the bottom line of it is this. Both of them this year were expected to have their teams led by great defenses, and in both cases, the defenses have let them down. The Packer defense needs to play better, the Bucs defense needs to play better, or it won't matter what either of these legendary quarterbacks does. Speaking of legendary, we are back on Get Up. Our next stop is Tampa, where the Buccaneers host the Rams Sunday in a playoff rematch from last year. It's actually the last two Super Bowl champions. Here was Tom Brady addressing the state of his 3-5 Bucs and what can be done to reverse their fortunes. Give a listen.
8 games, whatever, you could be 7-1 and be 1 game out. You know, you could beat the record we're at. But the reality is at 3-5, there's a reason why we're 3-5. You got to fix the reasons why you're 3-5. It's 1 game, but it's not like we have a huge margin of error when we take the field. We don't. So we got to make the plays that are winning plays. And there's winning plays and there's losing plays. There's winning football, there's losing football. And we just haven't got over we haven't been on the right side of winning very much this year.
They've been bad. They're coming off sort of a mini bye. The week ago, Thursday was their last game. And look who joins this party this morning. David Pollack is with us from the scene of game day tomorrow, where they'll have Tennessee and Georgia. We'll get plenty into that as we go. But let me start with this. Ryan Clark, I'm starting with you. Hear me out. The things that are happening with the Buccaneers so far this season don't actually make sense. Their defense, which should be really good, has been just terrible. Yeah. Tom Brady, it's not like he looks bad. It looks like he and Mike Evans never played together before in their entire lives. These things don't make sense. They've had a mini bye. They're going to get things together. I just have a feeling they're going to knock off the Rams this weekend on their way to putting together a really good second half. RC, am I crazy?
I don't think you're crazy, Greeny. I think, one, we have all built up so much. Well, Tom Brady has built up so much emotional revenue for all of us. We believe that he can fix anything, that any situation he's in, he can diagnose us and be a part of the solution. So I think that's number one. We've also seen this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense be really good this year. We thought through the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season that they would be as dominant as they were on their playoff run. And also, Mike Evans and Tom Brady have done amazing things together throughout the 2 years or 2.5 years Tom Brady is there. So it's no reason to not think that things can get fixed. The problem is they haven't done it to this point. And to this point, this hasn't looked like any team that's resembled a Tom Brady team throughout the last 23 years, much less the last 2 years in Tampa Bay. This is a huge week against the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Los Angeles Rams beating them last year and winning the Super Bowl will help this team be focused and thinking about how to get better this week and get this one win. And I think that this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team will win the NFC South. But it ain't about what I think, Greeny. It's about what they do, and it has to start this week.
Yeah. Talk is cheap, and it's time to do it. And David Pollack, what do you expect?
I'm just still emotional revenue. That's what he's built up, RC. Okay, I don't know what that is. It sounds really awesome. I know Tom Brady's really, really good. I'm interested to see, this Buccaneers team. And I do. Listen, I believe him this week, Greeny, because let's be honest, too, on the other side, the Rams suck. I mean, they're awful. They've been very ungood all year long. Cooper Kupp, now being banged up, who is the number one focal point of the offense. Greeny's suiting up probably at running back for him. I mean, they got running back issues all over the place. So they're coming across the country, to play the Bucs. I love the Bucs this week. I think the Bucs obviously have a lot to prove. They have the extra time off. Their weapons are all getting more and more healthy. So this week, I love the Bucs. Long term, do I think the Bucs are going to make some noise? I don't, but for this week, I definitely like them.
All right, Nico, this morning in our meeting, when I bounced this thought off of everybody, you gave us a motivational speech. Give it to us. What's the motivational speech this week for Brady and the Bucs?
All right, fellas, look around this room right now. I want you to look around this room. There's no one walking through that door that's going to help us. We're all we got right now. We're all we got right now. Everyone in this room, we got to come together. The first 8 weeks, that's in the past. That's not going to help us moving forward. We got to take this 1 week at a time. 1 week at a time. We got the Rams this week. And remember what they did to us last year. We're going to look in the future. We're going to look at this week and only this week. It starts now. It starts right now.
I'm ready to go.
Starts now, Green.
I'm ready to hit somebody. Focus on
I'm not ready. I'm not ready with that.
I'm ready with that speech. I'm gonna hit somebody. Not you, though. I don't know who, but I'm not hitting you.
I'm not ready with that speech, but I think your point is a good point in that, and that's what they were doing. Like, they had a team meeting this week. Levante David said, like, the thing about Tampa Bay is that they've done it before. Like, the last 3 years, this defense, they've been the #1 defense or either top 5 in stopping the run. This year, they're 24. We've done it before. Let's go back to who we used to be. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. We've done it before. So, like, that's what we have to lean on. That speech, I ain't leaning on that speech.
No,
but
the speech was good.
I'm leaning on the fact that, like, we have all the